Welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to be seeing what is faster, a boat or a vehicle. We're going to be racing from the ocean all the way to the other side of the Alamo Sea, kind of the Grapeseed side. So in our first run we're going to be using the Longfin, which is by far the fastest boat. And as you can see here, it's making great time. Compared to a car which has to go on the dirt road next to this, it's going really fast. Of course in the turns it's a bit slow, but it's still going really fast. It goes up to like, when there's no waves, up to like 190, maybe even 200. In the turns of course it's a lot slower, but once it has a bit of open water it can really unleash a lot of speed. So this first section it gains a lot on the cars, but then the next section is where it becomes really tricky. So here for example, it's still relatively fast, but it's already losing a lot of speed. Especially because there's a lot of rocks where things like that happen. But the next couple sections especially are gonna be way harder. So far still pretty decent. But as you will see in a second, we have to take some turns and boats turn very slowly. So this is costing us a lot of time. The cars right now will probably be a lot further. But the boat is still doing its thing, and to be fair, originally I didn't make this video because I was struggling too much with this section, but now relearning some things and knowing how to actually steer boats, thanks comment section, it's a bit more manageable. As you can see, this section for example, and as the next section as well, is really hard, like speed-wise, trying to keep your speed. And also here just trying to avoid beaching and just hitting rocks. A couple attempts I did before, I just beached and I couldn't do anything. So this was the best attempt in the end, where I managed to get a relatively clean run. Of course it's not perfectly clean because, well, you can't really steer the boat that nicely. So theoretically yes, the boat run could have been maybe a little bit faster, but not crazy much faster. And from this point on it's just trying to hit, well, not the jet skis. Although the hitting jet ski though is quite practical because it sends us into the right direction. Yeah, at this point it's just Alamo Sea, this is quite easy. Well, this is the part where the boat really gets a big shortcut, because either way around the lake, or sea, it's a sea technically, you just drive way further. This is a straight line. Even though it's bouncing a bit, it's still keeping a speed from 150 to 180, 190 maybe. Depending how much you bounce. But this time it was relatively flat with the waves. So for example here it goes like 190 quite easily. And as you can see in the distance there already, the little canal gate is where we will finish. And the Longfin will finish with a time of 2 minutes and 51 seconds, which is, well, I don't know if it's fast. Well, I know, but you guys will know in a second. So for our first contender we have the Sultan Classic RS, which is a great rally car. The main attributes of this car are mainly its traction loss multiplier, which is 0, which means it remains where it has still a lot of speed on off-road sections. As you can see here, it just goes really fast and isn't really slowed down by it much. Also still regains a lot of grip. As you can see here, it's quite fast. The boat is maybe a little bit faster, but especially when the boat is taking turns, it's probably like equal to this. But at this point it's a lot faster. The boat has to take some turns in a bit, and this thing just, well, it just does its thing, it's cruising. And this is the easy section for the car. The only difficult was the like little shortcut there between the bushes. But this is relatively easy if you don't flip there. Luckily I didn't flip, otherwise this attempt would have been over. I must say, with the boat I did like 3 attempts or something like that, maybe 4. With the car there was a lot more. There was a lot of places I failed. But in the end this is the best run I got, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think yes, if you optimize it, like everything, you could probably gain a little bit of a couple seconds. But this is a pretty good estimate for a run. And also if you ever come into a scenario where you have to either take a boat or a car, well, here you are. It's still very representative. And yeah, at this section it's still cruising quite well, but as you can see here, it's going north, while the boat is just going in a straight line towards the finish line. And this one first has to drive north, and then it has to drive here drives towards it, but it still has to go on all the roads, and this is the part where the car really loses a lot of time. It's all these little hairpins basically. Like, look here, I have to brake a lot. It's a very sharp corner and then basically a hairpin coming up. Is it a hairpin? Not really, but a little bit. Luckily we can do a little shortcut here. Everyone has taken the shortcut. Beautiful little jump. As you can see, we go flying. It's beautiful. Here we also take the... I remember the shortcut is just the smaller route next to the route. It allows us to take this next corner a bit better. But as you can see, very sharp corners, and it's just doesn't allow us to use our full speed. And meanwhile, the boat is cruising at, like I said, between 150 and 190 kilometers per hour, not miles per hour. And this thing, I don't know exactly what it's doing right now, but it's probably also doing 150, 160, but then 180 maybe, 170, who knows? But not now. You see, now I'm slowing down a lot. I'm probably going like 100, maybe 90, even in like lower sections. And yeah, I just have to manage all the bumps and stuff. And as you can see, we're already hitting 251, and we still have to go a little bit. This last section, yeah, it's well, it doesn't really matter because we already hit the time, but yeah, it's quite fast. And in the end, you can see it's above 3 minutes. So even if we did take some things better or didn't hit something, we would have still not be anywhere close to the boat. So that route with a car is not worth it time-wise. So then I thought, okay, what is maybe faster? A bike. A bike you can wheelie a lot, also has a low traction loss multiplier. So this thing also goes really fast off-road. And in off-road races, like a BF400 is, well, a go-to choice for a lot of people. Bikes are quite OP in off-road races. And as you can see, it's a lot of straight lining, so we just have to try and maximize the wheelie without, you know, jumping. Also this section here, this shortcut, way fast on a bike. You can just... This was, I think this was like first or second try or something like that. I think it was actually, was it first try? Maybe even first try, yeah. This was really fast. The bike is so much easier to control. I think this genuinely was first try. Yeah, it was really way easier to control than the Sultan. So it's a very more consistent one. And as you can see here, it's a very similar story to the Sultan. You go fast here, you gain a lot right here, where the boat has to do turns. You kind of just go. This thing is a little bit faster in these turns. However, I do think, I'm not 100% sure, I should research this. But I'm pretty sure, like the Sultan Classic RS has a 0 traction loss multiplier. I believe the BF400 has not 0, but like low. Like 0.15 or 0.35, something like that, but not 0. So I think in the sections, like the dirt section, it gets slowed down a little bit more. Compared to the Sultan Classic RS, but it might regain a little bit of speed with wheeling, but you have to wheelie a lot, which is a bit hard if it's bumpy, because, well, yeah, you will just go flying and you lose speed, or if it's, well, corners, because you can't wheelie in the corner that much. You can steer a little bit while wheeling, but not that much. So yeah, this attempt, pretty representative, but yes, could be optimized and everything, but only by a couple of seconds and not by a huge amount. So you kind of have to look at that when you see the final time. Just think, okay, yes, this could have been a couple seconds faster, because also could have also been slower, but not by huge margins. You know, it's relatively feel safe. This is also very much consistent. The Sultan Classic RS run could have been so much slower, because, well, I've done a lot of runs. If I finished those runs, they would have been terribly slow because, well, crashes. This one, very consistent. This was, like I said, I think it was first run or first try. And it's fast, especially through these corners, although sometimes it's lacking a little bit of grip. But it's doing relatively fine as well. Over the bumps it's a lot better, because, well, it's only 2 wheels to deal with, I guess. But you might be able to guess for the fast viewers right here. I'm taking this little shortcut. I don't know if it's a shortcut in the end, but it works. You can see we're approaching the time and we still need dirt, which is not great. Yes, we hit 251 right now, so yeah, it's a bit slower than the boat, because yes, it's a little bit faster through the corners at some points, but I think it's still slowed down too much by the dirt. Also, the road is just too long, I guess, so it ends with about the same time as the Sultan RS Classic, so same time but way more consistent. So in the end, I decided to grab the new Sentinel GTS, basically the, what is it, M3, and this one, has a lot of traction loss multiplier, so it does go slower over dirt, but has a very high top speed. And we're gonna take a different route. We're not gonna take the dirt route for long. We have to take it at the start. So at first, yeah, you can see it's a bit slower than the Sultan Classic RS and even the BF400. And here we go for the shortcut. Manages it quite well. I had to do a couple runs, I think. This also wasn't the first try kind of thing. Yeah, it sees it struggles a lot more through these sections because it just has a lot less grip. You're a little bit less confident in it as well because it just slides out a bit more, and it's just, you know, less of a good driving experience. They're also just barely holding on. But in a second we will get to terrain the car actually likes a bit more. But first you have to cross 2 more bridges, maybe even 3. Yeah, 1 bridge right there, and then we go not left but straight. Perfect entry into the wooden bridge there. I really like the design of the wooden bridge. Always reminds me of Forza Horizon 1. I don't know why. But I think there's a bridge here as well, isn't there? No, there isn't. Okay, maybe we crossed already. Anyways, still on dirt here, but in a second, well, there we go. We are on the asphalt and we go on more asphalt. And now we just have a relatively straight line. I think there's one turn coming up and that's about it. And, well, right now the boat is also somewhere in the water. The thing is, however, this thing has a top speed of like 130 miles per hour, which is like what, 220 or something like that? Like 122, yeah, 215, something like that. So really fast, faster than the Longfin, especially because the Longfin has to deal with the waves. And it's just a bit further, but not that much. And it's still very straight, so it can use its speed the whole time. Right now it's going, I don't know, 2.5, 2.10, 2.15, maybe even 2.20 if we hit lucky or something. But yeah, it's just cruising. As you can see, the time we're only at 2 minutes 5. And if you know the GTA 5 map a little bit, you know we're really close. This turn and at the end we are there. This is also part of the grapeseed circuit, this last little finish straight. Could have done a little brake piece on the right side in the dirt, a little fun fact. But yeah, you can see it's way faster, entering with 222, which is crazy much faster. So yes, if you have a car, just take the right route and you're gonna be way faster.